Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Another Fat Guy Cooks. I am your fat guy, Andy Baker, and today we are going to be doing steak on a cast iron skillet. Nice and rare, nice and tasty, butter, garlic, other stuff. Should be beautiful. Let's go.
Another lost day, another lost year, another chopped onion to cover up the tears, another dream dead, another loss on the books, another fat guy cooks.
Hi guys, right, so steak. We are going to leave it out at room temperature for an hour or two so that it comes up to room temperature, so when you put it in your pan it isn't freezing cold and your pan doesn't have to do all that work of bringing it from freezing cold up to room temperature, up to hot, blah blah blah. It means you get a much better crust and a much tastier steak. So we're going to salt it both sides because fatty stuff like salt and ribeye is one of the fattier cuts of steak, which is why it's one of the most tasty. Look at that for a different camera angle. How about that? You can see all the ribboning and all the marbling and stuff in the steak, all the fat going through it. It just means it's going to be extra tasty. So liberally salt your steak both sides, and then after a few minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes, you want to dab it down again both sides and get as much liquid off as you can, because the salt will bring all the liquid out of the steak, or not all of it, but you know, a good portion of it. I think at this point, there we go, yeah, right, so a friend of mine, Rob, makes these pens out of wood that he lathes himself in his basement, and he's not really that creepy, even though it sounds like he is. So I'm going to attempt to show you how cool these pens look. There we go, that's a brown pen. These are all made, you know, basically from scratch, all the wood side, you know, the wood stuff on them is, etc. I think these sell for like, you know, between like 30 and 60 quid for a set. So what I'm going to do is give one of these away to one of you idiots. So if you want to comment underneath here, make sure you've liked and subscribed, and the funniest comment gets a pen. How about that? I'll probably message you when I've decided which one I like best, and we'll send you a pen out for free. How cool. Alright, get your pan going. Oh yeah, Rob's details will be in the comments underneath this, so you can go and have a look at all his stuff. There's the new camera look, you can see that on the right hand side. How cool is that looking? Right, so steak has been salted, has been dabbed down, and now it is in the pan. Listen to that, beautiful. So we're going to do a bit of a speed up here while it cooks on one side. We are not going to touch this motherfucker until it is done on one side, because that means we'll get the most caramelization and crust, which is exactly what we want. In the background I'm just chopping up some thyme, big chunk of butter, a few cloves of garlic, and what we're going to do is once it's done on that side, or nearly done on that side, we're going to throw the butter in the pan with the garlic and the thyme. There's butter, look, no, then I changed my mind apparently. Okay, so now it seems like we're going in slow motion, but actually this is normal motion. So, oh, look at that, beautiful. So you see all that really rich, dark, crusty brown, that's exactly what you want. So we're going to throw our butter in, that's going to start melting. We're going to throw 3 crushed up cloves of garlic in with the skin on, doesn't fucking matter, just throw them in. And then a sprig of thyme as well. And that's going to all infuse into the butter as the butter melts. I think we have another speed up here. Yep, here we go. Cool. So as you can see, your butter's melting, everything's getting melded in. I'm trying to do this as kind of a quick episode because the last one was a fucking doozy at like half an hour. So if I'm sort of rushing through this and it's not as hilarious as, you know, I usually am, then it's because I'm trying to, you know, pack it all in. If you see the butters there all getting fizzy and stuff and bubbling, that's the butter browning, which is what you want as well, because it gives it a much deeper, richer sort of flavour. Make sure you're smashing all your thyme and your garlic and stuff up with your spoon into your butter, because then that will put some more flavour in. And as you can see, I'm spooning the butter over the steak, which is effectively painting the steak with your butter and adding more colour. Now look at that. That's the other side of the steak that was cooking while I was basting, and that is exactly what you want it to look like. So we're going to do this for about about maybe 3-4 minutes aside, something like that. We don't want to go too crazy because it keeps on cooking after we take it out, and we want a beautiful, rare pink interior. So once you're happy with your steak, take it off, and then just spoon over your bits of thyme and butter and stuff like that. Come on, where are you? There you are. Who's a good boy? Right, so just put your bits of garlic and thyme on top, a few spoons of your butter as well, and then we're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. And then all the juices are going to spread out through the steak, and it's going to make it a lot tastier and a lot more, just better. It's just going to be better. Just let it sit. Don't fuck around with your steak for at least 10 minutes after you take it out of the pan. Alright, so what we're going to do here is make a quick pan sauce. Now, we're going to use a lot of the shit that was already in the pan. We're just going to take out all the bits of garlic and thyme, so there's no big chunks of that. Throw in a little bit more butter, and then we're going to whisk that around. Now, that's just basically melted butter, oil, and bits of steak and garlic and shit in there, so it's got loads of flavour in there already. We're going to sprinkle on a little bit of just normal flour, like so. At this point, you want your pan to be on super low or off. And then we're going to get a whisk, and we're going to scrape the bottom of the pan with a whisk, and also whisk the flour into the butter and oil, and that's going to start making a nice thick sauce. Now, a little bit of salt just to season, and you also want to throw in a little bit of water as well, because that helps it all incorporate. We're going to dissolve, we're going to evaporate off most of the boil off most of the water, but so keep stirring. Now, if this happens to your sauce because you've left the heat on too hot and it all goes horrible and chunky and shitty and looks like whiskey and milk, you fucked up. You broke your sauce. A broken sauce means the oil separates from everything else. If you add more water, like I'm doing now, effectively cold water, it gives you a redo, so it'll reincorporate again. As you can see, it's gone a bit lighter. It's all reincorporated. And that's how you keep your sauce nice and not broken and not shitty and not horrible looking. So if you keep whisking, you want to keep scraping the bottom of the pan because you want all those nice flavours in there as well. And basically, just keep whisking on a really low heat, and keep going until your sauce reaches a consistency where you can kind of run your whisk or whatever across the bottom of the pan, and it leaves like a space across the bottom of the pan, and then the sauce slowly globs back into it. I should be able to switch to the camera now so you can see. There you go, look at that. So as you can see, the sauce is getting nice and thick, and as you scrape the pan, it kind of leaves a space on the bottom of the pan, which is what you want. That's the kind of consistency. So once it gets to that perfect consistency, I think I threw a bit more black pepper in there, maybe a little bit of cayenne. I can't really remember, but throw whatever the fuck you want in. It's your sauce, do what you want. You don't want loads of it when you're putting it on your steak because it's basically just butter and oil. Take a little test and burn your finger because you're a complete fucking idiot. I'm literally sat here looking at my finger now, which has got a blister on it because I burnt it doing that. What a prick. Turn your... oh, there's the pepper. I thought I'd already done that, but no. Okay, so pepper. I think I threw a bit more salt in. Taste. Make sure everything... Always taste, constantly. Always be tasting stuff. As you can see now, it's really getting nice and thick. This is the sort. This is basically how like peppercorn sauce and all those kind of things are made. It's also how like a load of cheese sauces and stuff are made. So after 10 minutes, we're gonna chop our steak up. We're gonna use a really shit blunt knife because we're a complete fucking idiot. So it's gonna look really, really, really crap when we start to cut the steak. And we're going to be sawing rather than slicing, which is exactly not what you want to be doing. But as you can see, the fat is all coming out of the steak, and it's that beautiful pink, rare consistency in the middle, very little grey, so it just goes straight from crust to that perfect sort of pink rare inside. This is exactly how I love my steak. If you don't, cook it for a bit longer. If you like it well done, go fucking watch somebody else's channel because you're awful. Nobody should eat steak well done. It's a complete waste of good meat. And as you can see, all that fat is caramelized, and oh, look at that pink bit in the middle. I wish I had this back right now. Oh my god. Okay, so we're just going to plate it up. We're going to throw down a little bit of sauce and try and be fancy, but then realise that we're an idiot and we don't really know how to plate things up fancy. Anybody who's a proper chef, please contact me and tell me how to do this, because I don't know. And then we're just going to plate up a bit of the beef, throw a bit of the sauce on, point the other camera at it even though it's not recording because you're an idiot, and then we're gonna wipe the plate down with a bit of paper towel because we're trying to make it look even fancier. And there we go. That's steak with pan sauce that is fucking delicious and super easy. Can I talk now? Yeah? Oh, good. Alright, guys, look, really quick one. Ribeye steak with pan sauce, nice and easy, nice and quick. Don't forget to check out Rob's Pens. I'm going to do some sort of giveaway, but I haven't figured that out yet, so the voiceover dickhead will probably set you straight on that one. Yeah, we already did that. Let me just try a bit of this, I suppose. In case you forgot, the competition to win a pen is just comment something under this video after you've liked and subscribed. Make it as funny as you can. I'll find the funniest one and I'll send you a pen. Look at his face. That's my cum face, by the way. Cut. I'm done. I want to eat this. Bye. Another fat guy just cooked. Peace out.